Okay, so this is gonna be um, an update video on my Blizzard. She is pretty much very close to being done. She's not fully there yet. There's a couple of small things she's missing, but it's so close now that I wanted to make a little update video for her, and I wanted to show off where she's at, um, and how well it actually works. I'm fairly impressed with how well this build works on a P8 setting with the new Thunder Charms. Um, this is really efficient, and it does a ton of damage. So um, the parts that are missing basically would be better skillers. So, for instance, having higher life skillers would make it a lot better and give me more life. I would probably go with a 12 faster hit recovery as well. But other than that, she's pretty close to being fully geared out with everything you could possibly want. Um, yeah, let's go over the gear real quick. So for um, for the weapon, it's kind of a no-brainer. There's only really one weapon in my opinion, and this is it. Death Fathom is by far my favorite weapon for her. Technically, if you didn't want to put points into the cold mastery, since that gives you minus to enemy cold res, you could technically have a 6-socketed sword with 6 cold facets in it, but I don't think it's worth it. I would much rather have this. Um, yeah, so this is it got a 5/5 cold facet in it, so it's not perfect, but it's 3 off a perfect, and I found it myself, so I'm pretty stoked about that. And that's why I'm using this one. And then we got the Nightwings, which is a 15 cold damage Nightwings with a 5/5 in it. Um, it's a fairly nice roll on this one. Also one that no, this one I didn't actually find. This one I was given by Dilly, so I'm massively glad for that one. Then we have a Ormus Ropes with 3 to Bliss. It's 20 cold with a 5/5 facet in it. Um, and it's of course all blue facets because it fits the snow theme. I thought I was gonna go with either white or blue ones, but I was lucky I found the blue ones, so I went with the blue ones. Yeah, and then we have a 35 faster cast rate Spirit Monarch to hit that 105 breakpoint, and we got a 29 Moras. We use the Train Gloves for the cold res and the faster cast, and then we have 1 SOJ, and we have a faster cast ring with a little bit of res on it, and then we have some Eth tracks. Then we have Snow Clash as the belt, and of course we got the Cold Thunder, a 1919 Torch, and a 1720 Annie, and some small charms with res on them for the most part. Then we have a 352 CTA and a Bowspirit. And we do have, since this is the full damage setup, so this is to maximize the damage, we don't care about the magic find on this. But if I were to use her for magic finding, what I would do is I would swap out for the 3-piece Tal set. So I have a Tal's armor, and I have the belt, and the amulet, and then I would add my Oculus, and put an Ist rune in the Oculus, and I would have Chance Guards and War Travelers for maxing out my Magic Find. Just in case I want to go Magic Finding, that would be my choice. We have a Undals in case I want to level her a little bit more, and we have a Storm Shield and a Whiz Spike, simply more so for if I were to use her for PvP. Um, these can come in handy, so that's why I kept them in here. We have a Geats also for some more magic find in case I want it. And let me think, what else do we have on her? Nope. We have a Merc, and for this one I use a Treachery and a Cure and a Mad Bow for the insight. This should be changed to a Chains of Honor just for the lifestyle. That's the one thing she's missing. I just haven't come around to change it. And of course, being in an F base instead of being in this regular base would make this one even better. So that would be the two upgrades for her, in my opinion. I don't use Infinity because it's not necessary. I maxed out my cold res since I use a Sunder and they changed how the cold mastery works. So now it only provides 1/5 of the efficiency. That's why I've maxed it out. Since the maximum amount can be 100, then with this maxed out, it would basically come out to let me just calculate that. That would come out to around 50-ish. Let me get a calculator real quick, and then 225. Oh, that comes out to 45. So minus 45 is a little bit less than what you would want, but with the extra 5 facets, it gives me a tiny bit more. So it should be around the 50 mark. And of course we maxed out Blizzard because that is our main attack alongside with Ice Blast, which is also maxed out. They are synergies, and we maxed out Glacial Spike. This is my crowd control attack, you could say. It doesn't do a lot of damage, but it freezes the targets for 11 seconds, which is hella long, so gives you time to move around them. And then we max out the Ice Bolt because that's also a synergy for our Blizzard and our Ice Blast. And we of course have 1 point in the 1-point wonders, so we put 1 in telekinesis to get to teleport, and we put 1 in static field in case we need to use it for a boss or something like that. We put 1 point in warmth for the mana regen. Even though we got inside, it's still nice to have some extra. And we are not maxed out on our cold res at the very at this moment, but I do still have 2 spots for small charms, so I can get it to 73, which is decent enough for me. It's so close to being maxed out, and since cold ain't the worst type of damage, I didn't really mind it not being maxed out. We are running the full Vita build, so we only have enough strength to wear our Monarch. A little bit more actually, but I haven't respect her, that's why it's a little bit different, or a little more than I need. Yeah. And we have the 105 faster cast. I would love to get a 2 5 faster hit recovery, 11 cold res small charms to max out my faster hit recovery and to max out my cold res. And yeah, so that's basically it. We had 240 minus to enemy core res, but it's only 1/5 of the efficiency. So for that reason, that's why I went with it. Let's take her to chaos. So once we bow, we have almost 2k health and almost 800 mana. And we have a 16k blizzard and a 7k ice blast, which is phenomenal. And you'll see how efficient this actually is. Just a second. It's basically one-shotting everything. Even cold immunes just get absolutely destroyed by this. And this is where, if we have a group like this that's not cold immune, using this glacial spike really does help a lot. So this is a build where you don't want to be too up close, and that's why I was being a little careless right there. But once you get used to how you want to play it, you want to kind of stay a little bit away from the enemies to make them walk towards you. That gives you enough time to basically clear everything. And you put your blizzard down first, and then you start ice blasting. That's usually what I do, and I can then, if I need to, I can walk them into the blizzard. So I can, for instance, just change direction a little bit here. There we go. It is just, it works really, really well. I know this is not players 8, this is only players 1, so it looks even way crazier now than if it were on a player 8 setting. But it'll still rip through these mobs on a player's 8 with this setup, for sure. So in terms of racing for ladder, I feel like this is one of the better builds, just from the sheer power and from the cheapness of the gear. Now, having the perfect gear, or like perfect roll gear, is of course going to be expensive, but just having these things aren't super expensive. You can definitely get this with, or do this with a lot less gear and still be really efficient. It's just a question about kind of finding that sweet spot where you have around, I would say, between 7 and 10k bliss damage. That is really the sweet spot where it starts just mowing down everything in a matter of seconds. But for doing TCs or doing solo player 8 content, rather that be Mephisto or Andy or something like that, it is so efficient, and it's really fast, and it works out incredibly well. You will have to be, as I said, a little bit careful, because since you don't have max blocks, she does take quite the damage with this setup. If you're too close to them, they definitely do hit, and they hit hard when you don't have max block. But just the sheer power of this build is incredible. It works phenomenal. It really does clear fairly fast compared to... Oh, I didn't even have bow. That's probably why I was losing health that fast. But yeah, so this build comes out to be in my top 5 for solo P8 games. I'll have to check that real quick and see if it's ethereal. It's not.
I can't.
I didn't bring a town pole. But yeah, so as you see, this is damage-wise, she's a glass cannon, but oh my god, she does some serious damage per second. It is incredible. And as I said, if you're keep moving around and you keep teleporting around while you're blasting them with ice blast and dropping blizzards on them, this work comes out really, really nice. It works out really, really lovely, and I would highly recommend using this build in the ladder racing, or just for if you want to do solo stuff in player 8 games. So let's say you wanted to do Andy or Mephisto or Diablo, whatever, and you're in a Bale game, it's definitely doable with this build. It's not the fastest build by any means, but it is up there in terms of speed and how it clears. It does take some getting used to. I haven't been playing her for a while, so I'm a little bit rusty. But yeah, it does take a minute to get used to how the Blizzard works and how you want to drop it, but it is a phenomenal build. It is just incredible. I'm pretty proud of this one because it's so close to being finished and it's so close to having everything that you would want on her. As I said, the only thing I feel like I'm missing is 2 faster hit recovery skillers and then some better lifers, and that would make it just hit that very top spot. If I could get up to right around 3k life, that would be amazing. Besides that, I think that was everything. I do have this Monarch that I'm thinking of using later for a Spirit, just because it's a little bit higher defense than this one. But yeah, it's not super necessary, so that's why I haven't been going hard on getting this done. But yeah, I'm very, very, very glad for this build, how it worked out and how it's become. If you have a suggestion for something better or a better setup, you are very welcome to give me some ideas. I wouldn't use Infinity on her. I could, for sure, but I just don't feel like it's necessary. She is just ripping through everything super fast. And you could be using I believe it's Doom, the rune word Doom, that provides you with a bunch of minus to enemy cold res, but I still feel like this is the better choice in the end. Yeah. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment if you have suggestions or you just like how I built this build. Yeah, I see you in the next one. Thank you.